The entertainment industry has always thrived on drama. From legendary rap beefs of the past to today's viral social media clashes, controversy is what keeps fans glued to their screens. But every once in a while, a situation spirals so wildly out of control that it crosses industries, pulling in names that have nothing to do with the original fight. That's exactly what happened when Cardi B decided to lace her latest album with a few cryptic bars. At first, it seemed harmless. A little lyrical jab, the kind that rappers throw all the time. But fans are professional detectives when it comes to decoding shade, and it didn't take long for them to connect Cardi's words to JT of the City Girls. And here's the kicker. Cardi's line didn't just insult JT. It went deeper, hinting at something about JT's boyfriend, Lil Uzi, that fans immediately recognized as controversial. By the time people finished analyzing the verse, Twitter was already ablaze with theories. Instagram pages like The Shade Room and Hollywood Unlocked were posting captions designed to stir the pot. Everyone wanted to know, would JT respond? And if she did, would she be able to keep it about Cardi, or would she take it even further? When JT finally fired back, nobody could have predicted her move. Instead of going bar for bar with Cardi, she threw an NFL star, Stefon Diggs, into the chaos. The internet froze. A rap beef had just turned into something bigger, messier, and much harder to contain. Cardi B has never been afraid of controversy. In fact, she's built her brand on speaking her mind unapologetically, whether it's in interviews, on Instagram Live, or in her music. Her latest album was no exception. Filled with high-energy tracks and bold lyrics, it had plenty of moments to keep fans buzzing. But there was one line in particular that sent shockwaves across the internet. The verse didn't name JT directly, but it didn't have to. The implication was clear. Cardi alluded to Lil Uzi in a way that cast doubt on his identity and, by extension, JT's entire relationship. Fans instantly clipped the audio, added captions like, "We know who this is about," and shared it across social platforms.
To have me unalived because of him making a pass at me. It wasn't the pass that frustrated me the most. What made me most frustrated was the fact that he tried to unalive me after it, when in reality, even though I was violated, I never thought that the next step would be my life being threatened because you got turned down. But it's that power complex of wanting what you want when you want it, feeling like you own the things that you pay.
What made the moment even bigger was the timing. JT and Uzi had just been in headlines weeks earlier for their public arguments, so Cardi's lyric felt like she was digging into an open wound. It wasn't just a random diss. It was a calculated strike, and fans could feel it. Within hours, TikTokers were making edits syncing Cardi's verse with paparazzi clips of Uzi. Twitter threads listed evidence of what Cardi was hinting at. And while Cardi remained silent about whether she meant it as a direct diss, the internet had already decided she was aiming straight at JT. For JT, Cardi's lyric wasn't just another diss track moment. It was personal. She had spent years defending her relationship with Uzi against fans and blogs who claimed it wouldn't last. And now, one of the biggest rappers in the world was pouring gasoline on the fire. JT knew she couldn't ignore it. If she stayed silent, people would take Cardi's side by default. If she responded carefully, it might look like she was intimidated. So instead, she chose the boldest option possible: go nuclear. Her fans had seen this side of her before. JT is known for her sharp tongue and her refusal to back down, whether it's on Twitter or in interviews. But this time, her response wasn't just about Cardi, it was about shifting the entire conversation. And that's when she pulled Stefon Diggs into the drama. With one shocking accusation, she redirected the spotlight, and suddenly the conversation wasn't just about Uzi anymore. It was about whether an NFL star had secrets of his own. When JT named Stefon Diggs, fans nearly broke the internet. Nobody expected her to involve someone outside of rap. In one bold move, she turned a music feud into a multi-industry scandal. Her claim? That Stefon was entertaining another man behind closed doors. She didn't offer proof, but she didn't have to. The allegation alone was enough to create chaos. Screenshots of her words spread across Instagram with captions like, "JT just ended Stefon's career." Some fans thought JT's move was genius. By dragging Stefon in, she distracted from Cardi's original shade. Others thought it was reckless, accusing her of crossing a line that could damage not just Stefon's reputation, but her own. Regardless of the mixed reactions, one thing was undeniable. JT had shifted the narrative. What started as Cardi versus JT was now Cardi versus JT versus Stefon Diggs. And in the background, Lil Uzi's name was caught in the whirlwind whether he liked it or not. Stefon Diggs wasn't just some random name. He's one of the NFL's most recognizable wide receivers with sponsorships, endorsements, and a carefully maintained image as both an athlete and a public figure. By inserting him into the feud, JT wasn't just making a messy accusation, she was playing with fire. In the sports world, reputation is everything. Endorsement deals often depend on how clean an athlete's image looks. So when JT accused Stefon of living a double life, it didn't just spark gossip, it had potential business consequences. Sports fans who had no interest in rap were suddenly paying attention. ESPN commentators and sports blogs started mentioning Stefon in connection with JT's comments. Podcasters joked about him getting dragged into a rap beef he didn't sign up for. The crossover of music and sports audiences made the story bigger than either side could have imagined. And as always, the internet had jokes. One viral tweet read, "Imagine telling your coach you can't focus on practice because JT dragged you into her fight with Cardi B." Another said, "Stefon Diggs really went from NFL headlines to love and hip-hop storylines overnight. Stefon Diggs has dealt with pressure on the field, but nothing could prepare him for JT's accusation. Instead of ignoring it, he decided to speak up." His clapback was short but sharp, dismissing her claims as lies and flipping the focus back on JT. In his response, Stefon implied that JT had enough drama in her own relationship and should focus on that before trying to tear him down. That one line was enough to stir another wave of commentary. Was Stefon just defending himself? Or was he hinting that JT and Uzi had problems fans didn't know about? Once again, Uzi's name got dragged deeper into the feud. Fans started speculating about what Stefon might know or whether he was just deflecting. Theories spread, screenshots circulated, and suddenly people weren't just questioning Stefon. They were questioning Uzi and JT's entire dynamic. The back and forth had officially turned into a storm and the internet couldn't look away. While all this was happening, Lil Uzi stayed completely silent. But that silence only fueled more speculation. Fans began pulling up old interviews where Uzi gave cryptic answers about his personal life. They shared clips of his eccentric fashion choices, his use of nail polish, chokers, and skirts, pointing to them as evidence that Cardi's lyric wasn't just random. Of course, Uzi's real fans clapped back. They reminded people that Uzi had always been about breaking barriers and refusing to fit into society's boxes. They argued that Cardi and Stefon's words didn't expose anything new. They just reflected people's obsession with policing Uzi's identity. But whether they defended him or mocked him, one thing was clear. Uzi had become the centerpiece of the feud. Even though he hadn't said a word, his name was everywhere. And for someone as private as Uzi, that spotlight was probably the last thing he wanted. Social media had a field day. On Twitter, threads tracked the feud like it was a TV series. Every new post, every clapback, and every shady lyric was documented and analyzed. Fans compared it to watching a live soap opera unfold in real time. One fan tweeted, "This is the most entertaining storyline of 2025. Cardi, JT, Stefon, and Uzi should honestly just get a reality show." Another said, "Stefon Diggs didn't ask for this, but now he's in the group project." TikTok creators added fuel to the fire with skits dramatizing the feud. One video, which gained millions of views, showed someone dressed as each character reenacting the drama with over-the-top acting. Instagram pages made memes of Stefon holding a football with the caption, "Didn't sign up for this." It wasn't just gossip anymore, it was entertainment. Fans weren't just watching, they were participating in shaping the narrative. This feud might look sudden to casual fans, but those who've been watching closely know that Cardi and JT's tension has been bubbling for years. The roots go back to the infamous Cardi versus Nicki drama. Many believe JT leaned toward Nicki, and in rap culture, alliances mean everything. Over time, Cardi and JT threw subtle shade at each other online. They liked tweets that criticized one another. They posted captions that fans interpreted as digs. And while they never openly declared war, their fandoms were constantly at each other's throats. So when Cardi dropped that bar on her album, JT didn't see it as just another lyric. She saw it as years of tension finally boiling over. And her explosive response was the result of all that pent-up hostility finally spilling out. As soon as Stefon Diggs was named, gossip blogs smelled blood in the water. Anonymous posts popped up claiming to have receipts about his personal life. Some alleged they had seen him in compromising situations, while others insisted JT had exaggerated. Meanwhile, industry insiders offered their theories. Some argued JT's move was strategic, meant to deflect attention away from Cardi's shade toward Uzi. Others thought Cardi had baited JT into making a mistake, knowing her temper would lead her to say something reckless. No matter what the truth was, one fact remained. Perception spreads faster than reality. Once Stefon's name was tied to these rumors, there was no way to untangle it completely. His image had been dragged into the mud, and gossip blogs weren't about to let go anytime soon. The second wave of fan reactions went beyond memes. It became content creation. YouTubers uploaded breakdowns titled "The JT vs. Cardi Beef Explained" with dramatic thumbnails. TikTokers stitched old clips of Uzi performing in eccentric outfits and synced them with Cardi's verse, framing it as if she had been speaking facts all along. Parody accounts got creative, posting fake group chat screenshots where Cardi, JT, Uzi, and Stefon argued with each other in exaggerated fashion. Fans loved it, treating the feud like a sitcom that updated daily with new episodes. By this point, the fans weren't just watching, they were driving the narrative. They decided which side looked better, which moments became iconic, and which memes would live on forever. And in 2025, that kind of fan control is more powerful than any PR team. Behind the scenes, you can bet the teams for all four celebrities were in panic mode. JT's brand as a fiery but loyal partner was now being questioned. Cardi's reputation as the queen of shade was cemented, but some worried she had gone too far. Stefon's clean-cut athlete image had been tarnished by whispers he couldn't control. And Uzi, despite saying nothing, was now the centerpiece of speculation he never asked for. For JT, this beef could either make her look strong or reckless, depending on how she handled the next steps. For Stefon, endorsement deals and his relationship with fans could take a hit. And for Uzi, the drama risked overshadowing his music. One wrong move could make things worse. And in an age where public opinion shifts by the hour, all four of them were walking a tightrope. Beyond the chaos, this feud speaks to a larger issue in the industry. Female rappers are constantly pitted against each other, with every lyric dissected for hidden shade. Cardi and JT's clash is just the latest chapter in a long history of women in hip-hop being forced into rivalries for the sake of headlines. But this time, the feud wasn't limited to them. By dragging Stefon into it and indirectly pulling Uzi into the spotlight, the lines between music, sports, and personal lives became completely blurred. Fans weren't just judging the music. They were questioning identities, relationships, and reputations. It's a reminder of how unforgiving today's culture can be. Once a rumor starts, it's nearly impossible to stop, even if it's not true. And once fans decide they believe something, no amount of denial can undo it. The big question now is, where does this feud go from here? Will Uzi finally speak up to defend JT, or will he continue his silence? Will Cardi double down with another diss, or will she move on to the next controversy? And will Stefon let it slide, or will he take legal action to clear his name? Fans are already making predictions. Some believe Uzi will eventually address it in his music, while others think JT will keep escalating until Cardi responds directly. Stefon's next move is even harder to predict. Athletes rarely engage with celebrity beef, but his name has been dragged so far into this that staying silent might not be an option. Whatever happens next, one thing is certain. The internet will be watching closely, and all it takes is one new lyric, one shady post, or one viral video to throw gasoline back on the fire. At the end of the day, this entire saga is a cautionary tale about fame in the social media era. Cardi got her headlines. JT landed her clapback. Stefon defended himself. And Uzi stayed quiet. But none of them walk away unscathed. Because scandals don't fade in 2025. They live forever online. The memes, the tweets, the screenshots, the shady lyrics, they're all saved, archived, and waiting to resurface. Months from now, fans will still be referencing this moment as one of the wildest clashes of the year. For JT, Cardi, Stefon, and Uzi, the storm may eventually calm down. But the internet never forgets. And as long as people are scrolling, this feud will remain a permanent chapter in their public legacies.